Yo, hey everybody, in this video I gotta explain two-dimensional arrays in C. Two-dimensional arrays are also known as multi-dimensional arrays. They're an array where each element is an array. It's an array of arrays. Rather than just using one set of straight brackets, you use two. Think of it like it's two-dimensional. Here's how to create a two-dimensional array. Let's start with a one-dimensional array, then we'll convert it to be a two-dimensional array. We'll have an array of integers, named numbers. Int numbers, for an array we need a set of straight brackets, equals some values. I'll just say 1, 2, 3. This is a one-dimensional array. We can convert it to be a two-dimensional array by adding a set of straight brackets, then enclose all arrays within another array. Now we can add more than one array. They each have to be comma separated. Comma, add a set of curly braces for another array, and then let's add another. And then we'll fill in some values. The second array will be 4, 5, 6. The third array will be 7, 8, 9. Two-dimensional arrays are great if you need a matrix or grid of data. If I were to place each of these elements on a new line, they would kind of resemble a grid with rows and columns. We have rows and columns. Two-dimensional arrays are great if you need a grid or matrix of data. One issue with this, let me compile this program. We have an error. Declaration of numbers as multidimensional array must have bounds for all dimensions except the first. If we have a multidimensional array, we have to list the number of columns. What's the maximum size for the number of columns? We'll say 3. So you do have to declare that in C. Let's print the first value. We'll use printf. We're displaying an integer. I'll add a space afterwards. Display numbers. We have two sets of straight brackets. The first set of straight brackets corresponds to the row number if this were a grid. This first array has an index of 0, then 1, then 2. The second set of straight brackets is for the columns, 0, 1, 2. If I need row 0, column 0, those indices would be 0 and 0. It's kind of like that game Battleship. There's A1, A2, B1, B2, so on and so forth. We're going to print numbers at row 0, column 0. That's going to give me 1. Let's try and print 2. That would be row 0, column 1. And I'll just copy this printf statement and paste it. Numbers at row 0, column 1. That's going to give me 2. Let's try and print 3. That's row 0, column 2. Row 0, column 2. There we go. We have 1, then 2, then 3. Let's go down to the next row. I'm just going to add a new line character to the end of this printf statement, so we go down to the next row when displaying it. Let's copy these printf statements, paste them. Now we're going to access the next row. The first index is going to be 1 rather than 0. That corresponds to the second row in our grid. And let's see what we have. We have 4, 5, and 6. Then let's go down to the next row again. This row has an index of 2. Row 2, column 0, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2. And we get 7, 8, 9. So here's our grid, our matrix of data. It's stored within a two-dimensional array. Using nested loops, we can display all the elements in this array. Here's how. Let's cut these printf statements. We're going to create a nested loop. We'll start with the outer loop. Int I equals 0 will continue while I is less than the number of rows that we have. We have 3 rows. I is less than 3. Then increment I by 1, I++. This for loop, I'll just add a note here, that this is in charge of the rows. Then we need a nested loop for the columns, and I'll just copy this for loop, paste it within the outer loop. This for loop is going to be in charge of the columns. but we need a different index. Let's change this to j. Alright. Printf, we're displaying an integer. Separate each with a space. Display numbers, and there's 2 indices. Numbers where our row equals I, and the column equals j. Then outside of this for loop, I'm going to print a new line character. New line. This should print all the elements of our 2D array, which it does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I and j will constantly be updated as we're cycling through the nested loop. We'll print the first row, go down to the next row, print the second row, go down to the next row, print the third row. Let's say we have some additional rows. I'll add 10, 11, 12. Our outer loop is in charge of the rows. We'll continue while I is less than 4. Then we can print the new row that we just added with 10, 11, 12. To display all the elements of a 2-dimensional array, you can use nested loops. Here's an exercise that we can work on. We're going to create a telephone number pad. We can keep our nested loops. We'll declare a 2-dimensional array of characters. Let's call it numpad, like it's a number pad. We need 2 sets of indices. We have to at least declare the number of columns. We'll have 3 columns. Equals, we need a set of curly braces to contain everything. We'll have a total of 4 rows. We need 4 arrays. And then I'll place each on a new line just for readability. Now these are going to be characters. We'll start with a character of 1, 2, 3. I'll just copy these, paste them in the next row. Then we need 4, 5, 6. For the next row, 7, 8, 9. Then the last row is going to be an asterisk, 0, then a pound sign. I like to call it a hashtag. And here's our number pad. The name of our 2D array is going to be numpad rather than numbers. Oh, and then change this to characters rather than integers. There we go. Here's our telephone number pad. It's all arranged in rows and columns. Alright everybody, those are 2-dimensional arrays. They're an array where each element is an array. It's an array of arrays. It's useful if you need a grid or matrix of data. And well everybody, those are 2D arrays in C.